Okay, part two. So, a collection of the collective narrative. It is coming to fruition, and it always has been, and it always will. So, the reason why so many of us feel like we are in a stalling state, the reason why we don't want to move forward, is because we are very much aware that there are Agent Smiths out there that do not want a new narrative on the planet. They are very much out for extinction. And that's a difficult thing to have to come to terms with. That is, spending some quiet time, probably tearing up a bit, knowing that there's people out there like that, and it's probably more than are even willing to admit it themselves, because their subconscious has been so hijacked and programmed, they can't see it. They can't see it. They are still in the patriarchal narrative of the Nazi white coats are right, the preachers are right, the politicians are right, the billionaires are right. Even if they're claiming they see through the system, it's not what's happening. Okay, so it does need to be sifted through and made very vigilant, because those are people that are now we are. Women are starting to see the threat to them. Men are starting to see the threats to them. And the general populace is beginning to see that if you have any sort of patriarchal narrative running in the background, you're probably like some sort of Agent Smith of death or extinction. Even if it's not. And that's the thing, is the psychological warfare is a real thing, and they use psychology huge, the psychological warfare. And you can go look at the freaking numbers. Go look it up. 2/3 of the people that have unalived themselves on the planet have seen a mental health care practitioner. A mental health care not a general practitioner, a mental health care practitioner in the last week of their life. I'm sorry, that's called genocide. That's called a genocidal plan, and it is being played out via that community. And everybody's screaming about the rates, and it's like, but did we know the source of it? Yeah, it's called society, which science has very much had a key in playing. So it makes sense that the mental health care practitioners are the ones carrying out the narrative while they think they're doing good for the community. That's the trick, is we've been told that this is a good way to do things, just like the teachers were told. This is how we do a lesson plan. This is how we do this, that, and the other thing. And the kids are like, I can't do this anymore. And the teachers are just giving up, because they think it's the children's and the parents' part when the environment creates the cell. When you hand a child a screen to learn from, and that's what the majority of schools are doing now, you're handing them the Dark Crystal, right? Go watch the movie. The OG movie back, I think it was released, I want to say 82. Go watch it. Okay? So, keeping that in mind, it's playing out all over the place. You know, the medical industry, it's like, you have this, that, and the other problem. You need to get on this life-saving medication or you're going to die. And so for the rest of your life, your hard-earned pentacles are being parasited by a system that probably created the poison that gave you the disease in the first place. $10 billion for a long chemical. It wasn't glyphosate. I know it wasn't glyphosate. Nobody said it was. You did too. It said it in the files. Okay. Okay. But please don't do any science and just go turn the bottle around to figure out which chemical it would be that would put warlords behind prison bars, which is still allowed in those chemicals to this day. So when somebody tell you go touch grass, you done been that's bullying on a very high level of bullying. Okay. In the most atrocious ways. Some of the cancer that shit gives you is just freaking horrible. Okay, anyway. So, still on the market. Nobody took it off the market. Still in there. Meanwhile, the cancer is getting worse. So are the insects. So are the weeds. Okay? So, accepting the fact that, like, the majority of the people who have been given authority A, don't know what they're doing. B, are doing it in a way they think is negating the system, which it's not, because they're still reading the textbooks that the white coats gave them to read and go off of. Ka-chunk. And then, assuming that all of these really old, rich, wealthy, white, dead men are the way forward in any meaningful way. Okay. So, gotta look at all the constructs. Anytime there's a hierarchy, it's kind of a death trap, because anytime you can't speak up, you can't have your life experience on the table, you can't do that, it's going to create death, because the higher up who believes they know exactly what they're doing and they can do no wrong, and that what they're doing is the bestest and it's the only way forward, and yada yada yada. And they are like gonads deep in their work and their enthusiasm for perpetuating a narrative that's not serving humanity in the slightest, but doing the opposite to that. Yeah, we got a problem, kids. We got a problem, and it usually ends in death. Okay? When you've got a pilot that's, high on whatever the heck authority, you got a co-pilot or a lead pilot, head pilot it used to be. They had to change that because too many plane crashes were happening because the subordinate pilot wasn't allowed to speak up. Okay? So, just remember that. Just remember that, like, where there's authority, more death is going to happen. Where there's vulnerable people and there's authority over those vulnerable people, whether it be the poor, the elderly, the disabled, the people who have been shamed by society or don't have jobs now because of whatever, those are going to be the situations where you're going to find people trying to prey on them. Okay? So just be mindful, be vigilant, be supportive of the people around you. And don't get down on yourself. Because watching tarot right now is probably the worst thing you can do for yourself if you did lose your job. Probably the worst thing you could do for yourself. But they don't care, because a lot of them are like, follow me over to Substack. Follow me over to the other half of your reading. Members only readings, things like that. Now, I'm not bashing making freaking content to support yourself. Abso-fucking-lutely get it, but the way they do it, it'll be interesting to see what the other side of that coin has to hold, right? So just be mindful of that, to kind of maybe navigate away from there, especially if you find yourself, going, I just got shamed for not having a lot of money. Okay? So you need to be careful that you're not letting someone else control your narrative. And I tell that to you guys pretty often. Don't even listen to me. Don't even listen to me. You gotta live for you. You gotta live for you. I'm just saying you're gonna get really upset here if you have a very heavy religious narrative running in the background. Because I don't believe that has a very good outcome either. It's extinction. How many people need to be shot up before we get off those trains, kids? 7 of Cups and the 4 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so there's your follow-up. 4 of Cups. And we're going deep. We're going all the way down. Okay, 10 of Cups, Temperance in reverse, and the King of Swords. Just a quickie. Just a quickie. Okay, with the 4 of Cups being right above the Temperance card here, it's like you know which one you want to hold on to and which one you want to let go of. You know the 10 of Cups, and you know how to get there. You know how to weave that way. It's just you've got to decide what you want to let go of and what you want to keep. And I think maybe you had the opposite in mind. I was going to keep that and let the other thing go. Excuse me, but now I want to keep that thing that I was going to let go of and then let go of the other thing. That's what this feels like. Okay? So just make sure whatever you're holding on to is having a positive reflection back to you, is giving you what you need in return, is producing something that's not only good for you, but good for your family, your community, the world at large. Not something that's creating a harmful narrative, that's, putting you guys in jeopardy, creating a horrible outcome for the community, killing people on a massive scale, that whole thing. I think that's the collective, assessment. I mean, I don't think we have a choice at this point, because it is like we get off the crazy train or we just let it go over the cliff. Okay. Anyway, have a glorious day. Let's get some... Let's go. I radiate joy. And again, it's holding the dichotomy. It's that temperance. It's holding the painful truth while seeking joy in your immediate environment. It's the dichotomy. It's the duality of life. It's the knowing that shit went astray, and we probably helped it get there, and we can get it back. And we just need to start focusing our energy on the joyful aspects of life. And what a beautiful community. What a beautiful phone. What the hell? What? Okay. What a beautiful home we can create. Easy home phone. Okay, we can do that too. I feel at home in my skin. Do that. This is backwards. I feel at home in my skin. Okay. Is this backwards too? It is. I free myself from destructive fears and doubts. That's what this whole thing... You have to look at them in order to liberate yourself from them. So I know it's a B and whatever else, and I comprehend that. But if we don't see the landscape, we're not going to navigate in our own best interest, because we keep ignoring the landscape. Like, Larry, that's a cliff over there. You want to turn around there, good buddy. You know what I mean? Like, you see, like, this is not a good example. You know what? We're not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the herd running off the cliff, and, Joe's going, hey, guys, I would okay. So, it's a rough process, and the more we can gently guide out of that narrative and just stop paying attention to people who are spreading that narrative and going, yeah, it's a cliff, we're going, bye. This is, shoveling people off the planet for this, that, and the other thing. Not a good plan. Okay. because that's how they get us to not care. That's how they get us to give them permission to shovel people off the planet in massive, massive droves, is they get people stuck in a narrative. If you don't have a place to live because you're not slaving away and you blah, blah, bye. Excuse me, what? I would like to keep my humanity for 500, please. Thank you. This is what I'm saying. It's like it's seeping in the cracks in all different ways, shapes, and forms. And we just need to be vigilant about how we're moving forward, because it could change. We could change this outcome. We could change it. We just have to be conscious of it, right? We are agents of change, not smiths of agents, whatever the heck that is. Spirit's coming through hot and heavy. I'm always connected to my heart. Okay, so cool way to connect to heart. Gentle fist. Find where your rib cage meets at the very tippy top. Not right here at the collarbone, right below that. Like there's a little dip there, and then there's that nice heavy duty breastbone. It's called the sun thalamus. So just tap on it ever so gently, and then you'll feel your body automatically take a huge deep breath, like more than you were before. So, and that's kind of how you get into your heart space. What else? What else? What else? Okay, so this, I'm trying to demonstrate for you how to be in the truth of the situation without negating the landscape that you have to traverse, and holding joy in your heart for this experience of being alive and being able to have that knowledge and wisdom of holding the truth while not giving in to fear, panic, whatever, and being safe in the system. Okay. Within me is an infinite source of peace. Okay. And that's the safeness in the body. That's, you know, like stormy all the way around, but standing in that center of peace going, yeah, I witnessed this, but I don't have to give in to anything that's pulling me out of my center. I don't have to give into it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to suppress it. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to numb myself out. I might take a reprieve from now for a little bit just to get myself in a state that is not conducive to being pulled on. And I need a break from being so stimulated from all of this stuff that I'm just trying to pay witness to and find the correct direction to take forward. But it's not an abandoning. It's not a self-abandoning. It's not societally abandoning. It's not abandonment energy. It is, I am going to stay sovereign. Another ego. I'm going to stay sovereign. I'm going to stay sane. I'm going to keep my heart open. I'm not going to shut myself down and off to all the truth that's happening right now. And that's vulnerable. I had a thing, you know, where vulnerability was on the table, and I was like, I know. But if you take the vulnerability away from, like, you know, where society wants you to direct it, which is with some sort of romantical endeavor, take that off the table. We don't know what we're doing in that area yet. We haven't even touched it. We can't develop it yet. We are in the agape state of vulnerability, where I have compassion for all life on the planet, and I don't want to manifest or create more narratives or support narratives that already exist that involve people getting into states where they are either volunteering as tribute or getting into states where they are told that they are less worthy of human beings, they're less than, they create more problems, they're a burden on society, so therefore, that is another form of genocide. And I give you the stats. 2 out of 3 people seen a healthcare professional in their last week of life before they decided to take it into their own hands. Okay, so just be vigilant about what you're taking into your system. Okay, stop. And I keep saying this on my channel, stop listening to outside sources. You have to stop, because the agenda is real, and the freaking Agent Smiths are out like freaking drones right now, just parakeeting narrative after parakeeting narrative after parakeeting narrative to get you to, okay? And it's not you, it's them. They've been, buying into the narrative that society has deemed acceptable. So, and again, they don't need to be off the planet. They just need to be told, did you consent to forming a unconventional army against XYZ group? Did you consent to that? Did you know that's what you were doing? Did you want to knock it off yet? No? Okay. Carry on. Okay. Again, we do not submit to the side that is like, well, we're going to provoke the other side into becoming ignorant like ourselves. That's not how we operate. It's not how we operate. Okay, so you take your time, attention, and pentacles away from those narratives. In every aspect of life. In every single solitary aspect of life. Because if it's trying to do that to human beings, and you're sitting there uplifting it, what even? Right? What even? Okay. I love every cell of my body. I radiate joy from my entire being. And I step back and see the bigger picture. So that's, while we're back here viewing the Agent Smiths being activated, we can also view the eagle eye view, which is beautiful, sacred nature. Right? All those lovely little things that exist. If you haven't found your soul tribe yet, I went about 3-4 years without having someone I could really talk to about what I was going through. And one of the people that I was talking to about what I was going through was not a nice person. And so, and that too comes in where you're in your spiritual groove and you think you found somebody to groove with. And again, it wasn't romantic. It was just, another person who I thought was on the same or similar path or understood. And they were not on it. They were not, and they wreak havoc. And they teach you a harsh lesson. And then you're like, I'm not doing anything like this ever again. And you just get into that mindset. And then you're like, okay, but I do need some modalities of healing. So I'm going to get into some practitioners that have a sense of what's going on inside me rather than, sticking me in a category. They're going to say, okay, just need to breathe through that, and we're going to do a breath session, and we're going to do it in a salt cave, and we're going to, it's freaking fabulous. Okay, healing should be fun. Uh-oh. Healing should be fun. Yep. You look at the owie and you're like, we ain't gonna make this better with more owies, even though the Nazi wild coats wants you to believe that. We ain't gonna make no more owies with the owies. We're gonna make some joy and some pleasure where the owies are. We're gonna create and cultivate an environment where we don't have to be ashamed of our owies, we don't have to hide our owies, we don't have to neglect our owies. We have to play and create a place, an environment where they can be exposed for healing, and then we can expose them to different modalities of existing where the thing that was vulnerable and wounded becomes a strength, because nobody attacks anything that isn't a threat. I said what I said. I said nobody attacks anything that isn't a threat. wants you to believe that you are more powerful than they are. So they need to, right? That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of a war. It's creating enemies left and right, even if they're not real. That's another part of the narrative. If we can't create enemies around every single corner, why are we even breathing? That's kind of the general narrative of the vast majority of patriarchal constructs. Have to create enemies because war is good. War is profitable. And war keeps people in like just crap states that, you know, we're going to pretend like we have modalities of healing, but all it is labeling and shaming and blaming and gaslighting and, you know, getting them really into the solidification of what, you know, they aren't supposed to be here, which is breathing, apparently, in some cases. And usually it's the people that they shame and put the most shit onto are the people that actually have the modalities of healing within them. And they're just getting frustrated that they are not allowed to use those modalities, and they're not even allowed to explore them because they are being told that who they are and how they operate is not only worthless, it's a burden. This is why the collective is being isolated, because they are tired of being told that they are wrong for simply having air in their lungs. We don't conceive that as humanity's like strong point. You're breathing, why aren't you slaving then? You're breathing, why aren't you subjecting yourself to my will? You're breathing, why are you like wanting to experience life how you need to experience life? Like that's no, we'll tell you how you experience life. If you can't handle that, well, I mean, really, you have to experience life how we experience life, or you don't get to experience life. Okay, Charlie, put the fucking chocolate down. But I mean, don't you ever think about what kind of person that kid would have turned into if, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Phase 2? No, nobody went there. Okay, just me. It's fine. So that's what I'm saying. Is like, if you find yourself in predicaments where people are constantly telling you, that's not the reality of the situation, that I didn't say that, if that's what's happening, take a break. Be like, okay, I do need to sit down with myself and figure out where the truth in this situation is. Or if somebody tells you this thing actually did happen and that you just were, you know, whatever it is, you need to take a break. I don't remember that never happened. Take a break from that person. Take a break for yourself and your sanity. Okay, just take a break, and then realize that you are not going to talk anyone out of their lived experience. They're not going to do it. You, just like you would not want somebody coming to you and saying something like, that's not the reality of the situation, you're a liar. You don't get to do that to anybody else. You do not get to do that to anybody else. If you want to be a sovereign being, you have to start recognizing other people as sovereign beings and letting them have the experience they had. This is where we go drastically wrong as a society, because there has to be one truth and one truth only. This is why the monotheists are so multifaceted in the way that they just destroy the human existence layer upon layer. This is not for you to force your way into someone else's life. You don't get to do that. And society is constantly telling you that, yep, everybody gets to do that. Right down to taking a shot in your arm, and right down to how you were supposed to think and perceive and behave in the world. Okay. This is what we're deconstructing. Okay. So just remember, as you would like your own autonomy and sovereignty and integrity and whatever else, you have to allow other people theirs as well. So when there is a huge clash of realities, you need to step back. You don't engage. You don't get to deny somebody else's experience because yours is different. You step back and say, okay, let's assess the situation. This is the universe's way of telling me this ain't it. This ain't it, because you're not living in the same reality. How are you going to connect authentically with somebody who's not living in the same reality as you? We keep banging our heads up against a brick wall, expecting the wall to break. No, your skull's going to break instead. Walk away. Get away from those people. Step away from the situation. You are in completely different levels of dimensions, fractals, completely different. And it was designed that way. It was designed for the universe to instruct you when you meet something that is not in your comprehensive system. Don't force it. Stop forcing stuff that doesn't work. We keep doing that to each other. We keep forcing marriages. We keep forcing a lot of shit that is not conducive to living a healthy human life. So walk away from forcing things and get into your own resonance, and then find your tribe. This is why you don't have a tribe. Because you're forcing shit that's not working. You're forcing everything in your life to be the way that society wants you to be. And it's just not working. You're not in your authentic space. So just redirect your energy into getting authentic and in your own skin, cultivating those beautiful, wonderful, amazing things that you already have inside of you. You've had them since you got here. Just cultivate them. Unearth them. You don't have, there's no such thing as talent. There's just, I can do this thing. This is what I came here to do because I can do it. I can do it really well. Okay, that's it. It's your job to cultivate those things. And oftentimes when you have people coming in and telling you can't be this way, you can't feel this way, you can't experience life this way, those things get buried and buried and buried and buried and buried. Your job is just to unearth and remember. Okay? So there's my part 2 on collective cultivation. I don't know. Okay. I love you. Keep your flame. I am proud of myself and how far I've come. As you should be, darling. Keep your flame.